So Mubashir, there at the end, Homer brought up this very key term, civilization. And we've heard this term used before, clash of civilizations, haven't we, recently? What do you make of that?
Yeah, exactly. In past, we used to use the word clash of civilizations. And after 9/11, all terminologies changed. And we started using these words like Islamophobia, racism, anti-Islam racism. Yeah. But all is related to hate crime. And we saw, if you go back in 80s and mid-80s, you will see movie like John Rambo is going to Afghanistan and rescuing and helping Muslims, right? Because it was part of agenda, part of propaganda. And after 9/11, you would see movies in which you will hear the words terrorists from Pakistan, terrorists from Yemen, terrorists from Afghanistan. So again, I will say that the word clash of civilization has been converted into this Islamophobia thing. Right.
All right, so Abdul Rahman, a good point to bring up, isn't it? This role of propaganda, especially through media, through films, as Mubashir there pointed out?
I think that's the wider culture is really one part of it, and the media really is responsible for creating a narrative in which Islam continues to be seen, Muslims continue to be seen as intolerant. Let me just give you one example. When the Taliban destroyed the statue of the Bamiyan Buddhas in 2001, that was depicted throughout the West in all cultural media as a form of religious, sort of the clashing of a religious icon, of intolerance, and that sort of thing. Contrast that to the Charlie Hebdo drawings of the cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad, which was actually the exact same thing, because in Islam, the cultural icon has always been the absence of representation of the Prophet. I mean, that's the majority tradition. Yeah. And yet when that absence of representation was destroyed by the creation of these cartoons, that was never depicted as an act of intolerance. That was depicted as an act of freedom of expression, liberalism. So, the way Muslims act, the ways of being Muslim are increasingly being seen as intolerant and are being criminalized. Whereas the secular narrative where, you have to be against Islam or to be criticizing Islam in order to establish your liberal credentials, that narrative is actually being strengthened throughout, not just in the media, but also in Parliament. We've had Boris Johnson, the former foreign minister of this country, calling women letterboxes and bank robbers. That's essentially victimizing Muslim women. We happen to know are the most vulnerable women when it comes to, the great minority of women who are affected by religious violence, by Islamophobia. So there's really a lot going on here, not just in the media, but also in the world of politics.
I see Mubashir wanted to react. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mubashir.
I have a point. We saw this clash of civilization, vanishing from the scene during 1979 and 89, when we saw America, Europe, and other countries helping Muslims and joining hands with Arab states just to make the world unipolar in Afghan jihad, and we saw them heavily funding Afghan jihad, and at that time there was no clash of civilization, right? And when Muslims and America and Europe defeated Russia and Russia was crumbled, then again this terminology was used in media. And
so what you're saying is politics is playing a role.
Exactly, exactly. It is political agenda. One thing. Second, by this claim can be seen in European and Western media. Whenever a Muslim is involved in some kind of violence, that incident gets 400 times more coverage than an incident carried out by a non-Muslim. Right? Yeah. It is a vivid evidence that Muslims are being targeted by the media, and a narrative is being developed by Western media in this regard.
Okay.